with James Kirklin. Powerful and provocative, prophetic and practical.
Have you ever found yourself?
Are you dating for that person?
Informative and inspirational. How you gonna do better if you don't know what better looks like? I do. Intellectual. Come on, let's talk about it with me, the mind massager. Intellectual stew with James Kirklin. Intellectual stew. Intellectual stew. Intellectual stew. Oh, we're cooking something true. Intellectual stew. Real raw and relevant for you. With James Kirklin guiding through the deep, the light, the old, the new. Intellectual stew. Yeah, we're stirring up the view. Intellectual stew. Oh, we're cooking something true. Intellectual stew. Real raw and relevant for you. With James Kirklin guiding through the deep, the light, the old, the new. Intellectual stew. Yeah, we're stirring up the view. What's up? What it do? What's up? Welcome back to another episode of the Intellectual Stew with yours truly, James Kirklin. Let me get my microphone right. There we go. With yours truly, James Kirklin, aka the Mind Massager. I appreciate you for tuning in again tonight. I know that some will be joining here soon, and I'm looking forward to tonight's conversation. I'm just trying to get everything set up on my end. Facebook makes these little changes, and it's hard to share it, and it's hard to do. You can't fast forward, and I don't know if y'all are having that same issue like I am, but that's an issue that I'm starting to deal with on tonight. So I'm waiting on a few people to come in. I do have guests on tonight. Hold on, I was supposed to do something. Give me one hot second. I was supposed to do something right quick. Give me 1 second. Hold on. Y'all listen to my song one more time. And I got to do something right quick, and I'll be right back, okay? Don't go nowhere, for real, seriously. Come in, share the thread, let people know that we're on, and give me 1 second. Hold on, I promise you, give me 1 second. Listen to the music one more time. Intellectual stew. Oh, we're cooking something true. Intellectual stew. James Kirklin guiding through the deep, the light, the old, the new. Intellectual stew. Yeah, we're stirring up the view. All right, now I'm ready. Whew. Uh, hold on, let me take this thing off. I'm gonna suffocate. Where this out? Oh, that's a good point, Bradley. You wear a mask so long, especially that kind, you subject to suffocate. I'm about to hyperventilate, can't breathe, none of that stuff. But what's up? What it do? Time for another episode of the Intellectual Stew. And listen, tonight we're stepping into something real, and I mean real, real. Tonight's conversation is behind the mask. And before we even get started, I need you to ask yourself something. Here it is. Who are you when nobody's watching? And is that the same person you present to the world? Because if we are honest, a lot of us are practitioners of self-deception. Yeah, I said it. We don't just lie to other people, but we lie to ourselves. We've gotten real good at lying to ourselves. We tell ourselves, I'm good, I'm over it, it didn't really affect me like that, I don't care. But deep down, there's something that's unsettled. And instead of dealing with it, what we do is we learn how to cover it up. And we learn how to manage it, and we learn more than anything how to mask it. And that's where the mask comes in. See, the mask it ain't just something that we wear for other people. The mask becomes a version of ourselves that we rehearse over and oh, what's up, Dottie Deshay Racy? We rehearse it over and over again until one day, Dottie, we forget it's a mask. We start believing the performance. We start identifying with the role. We start defending the very thing that's hiding us. And what's crazy is that a lot of these masks, we didn't even create them on purpose. They were learned from trauma, learned from rejection, learned from environments where being true to ourselves really wasn't safe. So what we did was we adapted and we became who we needed to be to survive. But the problem is what helped you survive is now stopping you from being whole. And when dysfunction becomes normal, you don't even recognize it as dysfunction anymore. You know what you call it? You say, that's just who I am. This is just how I move. Or you start giving excuses to other people saying that's just how people are. No, that's the mask talking. Because if we sit with it long enough, if we get quiet enough, there's another voice underneath the mask. There's a version of us that's been waiting to breathe. But here's the tension. Taking the mask off, that's vulnerable. That's uncomfortable. That's risky because now people see you, but they don't see the polished version of you. They don't see the protected you. They don't see the real you. And the question becomes, will I be accepted? Will I still be loved? Or will I still belong? So instead of risking rejection, we keep the mask on. But tonight, we're not doing that. Tonight, we're pulling on the threads. We're asking the hard questions, and we're creating space for truth. Because at the end of the day, you can't heal. Hear me, beloved. You can't heal what you keep hiding. And you can't become who you're called to be if you're committed to pretending. So tonight's show is actually special because one of our listeners brought this topic to the table tonight. And not only did he suggest the topic, but he stepped up to help build the conversation. So what we're about to do is we're about to walk through his perspective, some of his notes, and then we're going to open this thing up because I already know this topic right here is going to hit somebody. So let's get into it. Here it is. Let's talk about these masks. Now, let me pull up my guest right quick. He's come to join us. Now, if you've not shared this yet, go ahead and share it, like it, heart it, let people know you're on. But let me pull him up. Here we go. Bradley?
Hey, how's it going, brother?
I don't know it. How you doing, my friend?
Good.
This way. Okay. Are you doing good tonight? All right, cool.
Yes, sir.
So let me ask you something. When you came up with this topic, what based on the conversation we've been having, because you've been following me for a few weeks now, and I appreciate you, your support. But what made you, and we'll get into our conversation in a minute, but what made you think of the topic about the mask?
Because we wear so many masks. First of all, good evening, everybody. Nice to be here, and it's a pleasure to be here. And again, just refer to me as Bradley. Hey, you.
Okay.
But I wanted to come up with this topic because, or I came up with this topic because we wear so many masks. Just myself alone, I look at, I'm a father, I'm a husband, I'm a professional, I'm an active member of my community, I'm a frat brother. I'm just busy. I'm a church member. So I'm wearing a lot of different masks all day long. And it gets very tired. So I just knew that we need to talk about this a little bit deeper. We couldn't just skim the surface.
Got you. And you say, so you have to put on all those hats. You got to be a father, you got to be a minister, you got to be a professional in the workforce. And are you the same person in all of those settings?
In most of those settings, I'm not. I try to be the authentic person that I am, but over a period of time, that's because I'm practicing. And I'll share with you some of my 6 practices before we leave here tonight. But
Okay.
I put them into place. But I'm not. I'm a different person. At work, I might be one person. At home, might be another person. And sometimes the key is we forget to take the mask off. And we keep it on, and we think we're still that person that we are portraying to the public, that facade.
Because you can't be the same person at work when you come home and got to deal with the children and all those types of things. But can you though? That's the question. You say you can't, but can you? You know what I'm saying? So that I think that's a rhetorical question that we'll have to revisit as we get deeper into the conversation But I appreciate you, man. First of all, not only for bringing us the topic, but also for stepping up and helping build it out, because I mean, this is good. But let me ask something. That mask, what does it, and you kind of started answering this a little bit, but what does that mean to you personally? And why did this topic matter enough to you to say, nah, we need to talk about this? What, because I know you're talking about it from your personal perspective.
Right.
But what about it in a holistic perspective?
So again, I'm not speaking of just a clinical. I'm speaking of my personal experience in life. 60 plus years, I'm experiencing just life in general. And so it refers to, the definition I like to use for this conversation tonight is, it refers to the hidden. It might be our true self, our emotions, our intentions.
Okay.
The person that's beneath the mask, that's that outward facade that we show to the public. So is that person there? So right now, let's say I'm sad. I put a mask on. You can't see emotion. You can't see my true identity. You can't see that I'm sad. But right now I'm smiling. I'm Kevin Hart. I'm a happy guy. But that's only a facade, because deep down inside, I'm hurting. So that's why I want to talk about it tonight.
That's good. That's good. So let me ask you then, would you say the mask is more about, and y'all in the chat, this is a conversation,
Absolutely.
So I want you all to be a part of this conversation as well. If you have questions, feel free to ask those questions. If you want to come on to make a phone call and call in, because you might be affected by mask as well. You might have, and you might want to, and your deliverance might be here tonight. This is a safe space tonight. I'm putting the wrong one. I want you to understand that this is very much a safe space tonight. So if you want to share your truth, feel free, please, ma'am, or please, sir, or just share. But here you go, Bradley. Would you say that the mask is more about one being fake?
So that's a very good question. And as deep in my research, I found that the mask is not fake. Now, some people may refer to it as, oh, they're just being fake. They're being fake and phony. But there's a difference. There's a difference between fake and real. According to trauma center scientists, the experts say that the cost of us is very expensive for us to hide ourselves, to be behind the mask. I didn't know this till recently, until I started doing my research, but the primary job of the brain is to protect us. So the brain is trained to protect us. So if we're being fake and phony, that means the brain's not operating correctly either.
That's true. So let me ask you this then. If it's not only about being fake, do you think it's about survival?
Yes, it is. As a matter of fact, wearing a mask is a defense mechanism. It is.
Okay.
It's a behavior over time that researchers found that wearing a masking is a learned behavior. It's something that we learn. It's almost a survival tactic. So yes, it's learned and it's a survival tactic. So something we use to hide ourselves. For example, there's what's called, I like to call emotional concealment. Emotional
Hmm.
concealment is when we say things like, she was reading, but I could feel her pain from behind her cheerfulness. She's really fake. She's showing she's hurting. She's hurt on the inside, but she's smiling on the outside. Or perhaps in a professional environment, we say things like, "Oh, sales are up. We're doing great. We're heading in the right direction," knowing deep inside that you're hurting, you're frustrated, or you put on a mask of confidence where you're really not confident at all. And then there's
So,
even a social role, as I like to call it, where we're trying to keep up with the Joneses. We're trying to keep up with others. If I can just buy this nice handbag, I'll look successful. If I can buy this expensive car, I'll look successful. Knowing inside I'm overspending and I'm hurting inside because I've got to make this payment. I got to make this purchase. So those are just some examples.
got you. Started breaking up a little bit
Okay.
towards there for at the end a
Okay.
little bit, but I think we'll be okay. All right, because when I think about this, I think more people hear this and immediately think that when a person is wearing a mask, that they're doing it to be fake. When I thought about that question, fake
Mm-hmm.
versus survival,
Mm-hmm.
because even when some people have to use drugs, to become that individual, that's a form of masking who they really are. You know
Exactly.
what I'm saying? Or
Exactly.
some people try to cover up a scent. They might put a cologne on it or something. That's their way of masking a scent. They're trying. It's almost like they're hiding something that they don't really want others to see. You know what I'm saying? Because if you really see me, will you accept me? Or am I good enough? Or am I good enough as current? Here it is. Am I good enough as currently constructed?
Right.
Because if I don't
Exactly.
have enough confidence in me, yes, I'm mask protect, absolutely, Avery. If I don't have enough confidence in me, then I got to figure out how to become the individual who I need to be so I can be successful in whatever setting that I need to be in. Does that
Exactly.
sound about right?
That sounds right. That's right. For example, there's even the mask of protection. You'll hear me speak on this more a little later, but there's a mask of protection. For example, I was brought up in the 64132 zip code. Now, I don't know what zip code you're brought up in, and I'm not speaking like others or not, but my zip code where I was brought up in is a very one of the most challenging neighborhoods in the country and still is to
Mm-hmm.
this day. So I had to put on a mask of protection, meaning that when I walked outside, I had to put on that face that I was tough. That mask again. Let me give you an example. Here we go, right here. There's that mask again. That mask that I'm tough, that I'm bad, that I'm mean. It was nothing
Mm-hmm.
but a facade, but it carried strength with it as well. So sometimes we put a mask on of strength, believe it or not. There's a
Wow.
lot of different masks. You're right. There's fear. Some people conceal their emotions because something's happening at home, and he or she decides to hide that mask. There's a lot
So,
of different masks.
but basically, what we're saying and what you're saying is that people aren't just pretending. Sometimes they
Mm-mm.
use it as a form of adaptation. They're using the
Exactly.
mask to adapt. Yeah.
Well, let me give you an example, another example, and to my listening audience. Tim, if you know this person, I'm going to describe her for a second. So, it's a female, it's a her. She's 28 years old. She weighs about 152 pounds, athletic. She's got a net worth of about 145 million. So it sounds like she's very successful. She's doing well in all standards. A 28-year-old making 145 million. She was dealing with so much stress and anxiety that she had mental issues. I'm speaking of Naomi Osaka, the tennis
Okay.
star. She had
Okay.
to resign because from the French Open in 2021 because of mental issues, because she
Mm-hmm.
was wearing a mask. She said every time she had an interview after the game that she would give one interview and then afterwards it would get tougher and tougher for her to wear a mask because she was holding the anxiety and different things inside. That's just an example. When you say if
Yeah.
it's real or fake, I would say the name Robin Williams, a
Yeah.
63-year-old gentleman, committed suicide. He didn't only wear a mask, but he was a professional comedian, an actor. But yet, inside, he was torn apart. And lastly, in my examples here, I use the name Twitch, a 40-year-old. He's a choreographer, a
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
dancer, a DJ. He was on the Ellen DeGeneres show for years. Again,
Committed suicide.
suicide. There's a tough thing that's going around everywhere. And we'll talk about it, more tonight. But there's a tough situation, and if that's happened in your family, I would love to hear about it or happen to you, because it's real. It's real. It's not just somebody being fake and phony. It's a real thing, and we've learned to adjust because of it.
Yeah, and it's interesting that you say that, because all of those individuals, what they ended up doing, and if y'all are listening right now, number one, let me know where you're listening from, and number two, share this, and number three, if you would, like or heart the post so we can kind of get the algorithm going and get some more people into this conversation. We're just getting started. We really are.
Yes.
But everybody you just talked about, Naomi Osaka, Robin Williams, Twitch, what they had done was created versions of themselves to survive certain situations.
Exactly.
And that's powerful. When you have to create a version of yourself to survive certain situations. I'm be honest with you. There have been times, like, for instance, I'm 53 years old. I started preaching at 21. Okay. You couldn't have told me that I wouldn't have been pastoring for 25 years by now. But I've come in second 7 times. You know what I'm saying? At least 7 times of some good churches. You know what I'm saying? And that has a way of working on you. You know what I'm saying? And so as you start to get depressed, as you start to go into yourself and life happens, you know what I'm saying? And then you got to go to church and be him or do that part, right? And then when you're at your best, you preaching and you're at your best. But when you preach, Bradley, you don't know when you're going to preach again.
Right.
So that mask that you put on to preach and to bless people, now you got to go home and deal with the silence of the walls. You know what I'm saying? Or you got to deal with the emptiness of the home. And that mask that you just took off, the one that I was wearing when the show first came on, now it don't do me no good now. It does me that mask, at church, I could say a charge to keep. I could do all that stuff, and I could close and I could argue the text, and people would be blessed and all that stuff. But then they give me a good attaboy. Some churches don't even pay you. They send you home, and then I got to go home and say,
right.
But then this is the question for me. Is the mask the one I wear at home? Or is it really who I am at church?
Wow.
And so here's this juxtaposition, because I'm at my best there.
Right.
I have trouble in the alone time. You understand what I'm saying? Where's the mask?
Wow.
I didn't mean to go there. So if you can't distinguish when you're actually wearing the mask, that's the whole. Listen, for those in the chat, if you've ever had, listen, everybody, hear what I'm saying. If you've ever had to be someone else just to get through something, do me a favor, drop a mask in the chat.
Wow.
Whatever kind of mask you want to, just drop a mask. If you've ever had to be somebody else just to get through something, drop a mask in the chat. And if you want to call in and talk about it, Bradley and I would love to talk to you. 404-860-2775. If you call the first time and I don't answer, call right back, because sometimes I might miss it. Because I don't. Let me turn the volume up, make sure we're good. But 404-860-2775. If you've ever had to be somebody else just to get through something, drop a mask. I wish I knew how to do it. Let me see if I can come up with a mask. I need to drop one in the chat, because I definitely have had to be somebody else to help me go. So let me go here with you. Let me ask you this question, Bradley. Next question.
Sure.
Why do you think people put the mask on in the first place? Is it more so a thing of fear, or what do you think it is?
I think it's a little bit of everything you said tonight. It's a combination of things. It's we put a mask on because we're afraid. So we put the mask on of strength, or courage, or protection. When at times I'm confused, I don't understand, I put a mask of I understand. When I'm totally asked in a meeting, does anybody have any questions? I sit there and say, no, and no, and I don't understand. We put a mask on of like I mentioned earlier, professional mask, a social mask, just even trying to keep up with others. That's a mask within itself, trying to keep up with others. But it has the same result. It doesn't matter. It has the same result, and that might be drinking. It might be drugs. And if I'm jumping ahead, let me know. But it might be all those things. It could be anger. We put a mask on that I'm not angry anymore. So now I'm putting a mask on that I'm happy. We do it all the time. Even in church, you mentioned church just a second ago, we say things like, how you doing today, brother? Oh, I'm blessed. And inside we're going, I'm hurting. I'm sick. That's why I came to church, because I'm hurting. But yet we put a mask
Yeah.
on. We hear the altar call is open. We hear the sermon. It's definitely speaking towards my situation, but I don't go down there because I put a mask on of privacy. I don't want everybody to be in my business or talk about me.
Yeah.
So we wear a lot of different masks. We do.
Yeah. So you're basically saying it's not just a random thing. It comes from something, huh? There's an origin that makes us. I don't know if it's an ability or feeling like we have to perform
Right.
or we have to fit in. Or let me ask you this: have you ever seen somebody get hurt one time, and from that
Mm.
moment on, they never showed that side of themselves again?
Yeah. And I'll be transparent. I've been that person before. There's been a time where I'll just speak of myself where I've been hurt, and I'll go, you know what? You got me this time. You won't get me again. We say phrases like that, but that's what we're saying. You won't catch me off guard again. Even in the scripture, if I want to be spiritual, it says, guard my heart at all costs. So yeah, I'm guarding myself. I'm not the same. Doesn't mean I'm not gonna love again, or I won't like again, or I won't enjoy again, but it just means I'm gonna be different, meaning that even if it's just being cautious, it causes me to wear a mask of caution, a mask of let me feel you out. Like in the first round of a boxing match, you kind of feel each other out. So yeah.
And what you just said is it that's it right there. Because what starts out as protection, and Avery said that a minute ago. What starts out as protection, watch this, listeners. And y'all ain't talking to me tonight. Why y'all ain't talking to me tonight? Y'all don't like us? We're not saying nothing good. I want y'all to talk to me tonight. But what starts out as, hey, Sue Ann, hey, sweetie, what starts out as protection turns into an identity.
Right. It does. It's almost like a snowball. I don't know if I'm from up north originally from Kansas City. And you build a snowman. Have you or anybody ever built a snowman? You can just put yes in the chat. I'll make it easy. But if you haven't, or if you have, it starts with just a snowball, pack of snow together, and then you pack it together, and then I start rolling across the yard until I build a snowman. And that's what happens. One lie begins another lie, or another story, another story, another story, because I have to keep up with them. I've got to keep up with them. I got to elaborate just a little bit.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. But let me ask the audience right now. Let me ask the audience, because are y'all gonna talk back to me? Who is this? Master Dance while crying when crying. Hey, faith keeps me through. Let me read Sunshine Shining's comment. She's from Atlanta. She said, Master Dance when crying. Faith keeps me
Yes.
through to know this too shall pass. No
Yes.
mask when you start loving yourself. And that's the key thing. Once you start loving yourself and you really become comfortable in you with you, then you don't have to wear a mask. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Because you know what's a old boy that passed away? He said, "You ain't gotta like me, I like myself." And when you really are into you like that, that's what happened. So let me ask y'all in the audience, and y'all talk. Let's talk. Let's start chiming. Be real. If any of you have ever had to wear a mask, and please, if you have, see at least 8 people in here, but I only see 3 people have liked it so far, and I'm not sure how many shares, but please share it. But if you've ever had to wear a mask, did your mask come from pain or pressure? That's what I want to ask y'all in the chat. Did pain cause you to put on the mask to become to form that protection, which later turned into an identity for you? Okay, Sue Ann said it was pain for her. Anybody else? Was it pain or was it the pressure to perform? You know, everybody around you was, the Joneses were doing their thing and you had to keep up. You felt something. You felt the need to come up with the Joneses, keep up with the Joneses. All your friends were having kids, so you felt like you needed to have one. All your friends were getting married, so you rushed into a marriage with somebody you really didn't even like. So you're stuck in a mask and formed this identity because of pain. Which one was it? And y'all, let's talk. Let's talk. Okay, Sue Ann said it's been pain and pressure. Sue Ann, the only one talking. And Sunshine, I take that back. Sunshine Shining is talking to me too. Thank you, Sunshine. And Avery was talking to me. And I promise you all, listen, we're in a safe space tonight.
Yes.
When you're here, you can talk. Nobody's going to judge you. Randy said, good evening, gentlemen. And it's been pain for him. Okay,
Yes.
cool. That's cool. Yeah, so yeah, that's that Bradley. Okay, you put it in the back chat. You didn't put it in the regular chat. No. Okay, but yeah, Matt Bradley said it's been pain for him, and I would say it's been both for me. It's been pain and pressure, and I ain't gonna lie, I flunked. I flunked a lot. When I say
Right.
flunked, I flunked a lot. I made some bad decisions, all that kind of stuff. But let's talk about the part people don't like to admit. You want to talk about it? Let's
Let's
talk
talk
about the
about
part
it.
people. All right, cool. What let's talk about what wearing a mask cost us.
Wow.
Because masks help us survive, right? But here's the question. I want to ask you the question, and I want to ask those that are kind of analytical in the comments as well. What we talk about what what does a mask cost us? Because it
It
helps
costs.
us survive,
Right.
but even though it helps us survive, what does it take away from us?
Amen. Because at the moment we feel like it's surviving. For example, let's say that I'm showing a mask, but I'm not showing my true emotions. Maybe I'm going through a tough time and I'm not smiling. I look happy on the outside. For that moment, I survive, but reality sets in. It's almost like endorphins. You feel good for the moment, but when you come back to reality, it's a little different. Let me read this other definition while you put that question, that answer in there. I have a definition, another one, a second one. It kind of signifies a contrast between appearance and reality, representing vulnerability concealed by protection, such as smiling while depressed. Also, we're going to say on the definition that it can be understood as a literal sense. Imagine someone wearing a physical mask, just like I did earlier. It hides their true identity in a literal sense. Behind the mask refers to what is hidden, the physical face, their emotions, their identity. So right now, yes, I'm hiding it. But let me take it away. Reality sets back in. I had the vulnerability sets back in. I'm still who I was before I smoked that joint, before I drank that beer, before I did whatever I did to handle it. Even a deeper question is the way to bounce back is how we handle the response to stress and anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
Because we've already identified that we all wear various masks throughout the day. Whether your mother, whether your husband, whether your father, girlfriend, wife, we all wear a professional, we all wear various masks, but it's how we respond to them. Like you said earlier, someone said that their faith, definitely their faith. Whether you believe in the same God I believe in isn't important, but their faith in something bigger than them. Something. I agree with that.
Yeah, yeah, that's good. And actually that's heavy because now we're talking about something totally different. We're talking about some of the catalysts that make us put on the mask. If you're listening, please, ma'am, please, sir, share this thread and react and be a part of the conversation. Randy Miltner said it costs us the help that we need because we wear those masks so long that we won't ask for
Amen.
help, and
Right.
especially when we get lost and when we assume that other identity, that alter identity or that alter ego, and we get confused or we lose our, you always hear sometimes people lose themselves. We end up, losing our identity in a sense, and I get it, but that's
Mhm.
what anxiety, that's what depression, anger, escaping through distractions, that's what those things do to us, and they
Exactly.
cause us to put on that mask. So let me ask you this: do you think some people are tired and don't even realize it because they've been performing, forever? They've been performing and don't even realize it.
Sure, I do. I really do. And one of the key aspects of these things, these secret sauce, I will say, if I'll say that my reasoned way to get over some of this anxiety and stress, but one of them is protection. The mask is often used to avoid judgment, rejection, to conform to social expectations. Like Naomi Osaka, she conforms to social expectations. They expect her to push her way on through the mental exhaustion and perform. And so maintaining the persona that you're somebody that you're not. You're not being authentic. So yes, that's exhausting because I got to remember what I said. What did I say I did for a living? Who am I supposed to be? Where do I live? What car do I drive? Whatever it is, you're creating that's very exhausting. And that causes us to go into what's called a discovery phase. What I like to call discovery phase, like who really is this person? What are they really about? Who's this person behind the mask? Is this really the real person behind the mask? It makes you ask that question. It digs into the character.
Yeah, that makes a whole lot of sense. That makes a whole lot. It digs into their character. It costs
Mhm.
us. It costs us a lot. It costs us a lot. It costs us a lot. So let me ask the audience something. If y'all talk with me a little bit, have you ever been drained
Mm.
and didn't know why? Yes or no? If you've ever been drained and didn't know why, because life had been pulling on you so much. Let me read. Somebody gave me a good comment. Let me see what this says. Sunshine Shining said, wearing a mask for people, life lesson taught me through pain to live in my true identity. Ministry really is a lesson to take off mask. Getting older teaches teaches me how now loving oneself when everyone not going to accept you.
Exactly.
When you get to that point, place and posture, you've actually gotten to a healed place. That's a very powerful position to be in when you're comfortable with the man or the woman in the mirror, because a lot of people are. I mean, and especially think about what a lot of people use mirrors for. They use it to mask things. Women get in the mirror with makeup to cover up what they don't want other people to see.
They actually put concealer on their face.
The word you said they put what on their face?
Concealer.
What would say it one more time?
Concealer.
Conceal, because they're trying to conceal something.
The wrinkles.
What he just said, they're hiding something. He said at the beginning, the word mask is, he thinks of hidden. So when you're trying to hide some, because you ever met somebody, fellas, that they ain't the same person in the morning, and that's why before you get married, you better show up early one day and bring breakfast before just, hey, I was in the area, let me drop off this coffee right quick. I want you to call first. Because you might want to make sure that because you'll be like on I'm gonna get you sucker when that girl start pulling off hips and hair and legs and hip. I don't want to do all that. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, but I saw peace in the room. It cost you a peace, but it cost you relationship with your spouse, with your children, with your coworkers. It cost you your health. That's amazing, because what do we say all the time? That stress is a what? Silent killer. A heart attack is a silent killer. It costs you those things. And like I said, the personal relationships are really the big thing to me. I work so hard, but then you don't spend time with your family or your children or your loved one. That's a cost.
Yeah, that certainly is a cost. And I don't think that a lot of us really consider the cost. You know what I'm saying? When we start because it's so easy to lose that identity, man. You know what I'm saying? And then here's the caveat. The caveat is that if the mask looks better than I feel, or than my confidence, or my self-esteem, then it's easier to put on the mask than it is. I know some people who can't work without taking a drink, or who can't work without using amphetamines or some type of drug, to hype them up. You know what I'm saying? Because they need that boost, to become a better, or to feel like, here it is, to feel like a better version of themselves, to give them the confidence they need. So that I'm still asking the questions. Sue Ann's the only one that answered it. Have you ever been drained? And I know mothers go through this all the time.
Yeah,
and you don't even know why. You just
Right.
you're just drained. You're just drained. You just drained. You just drained. So let's continue the conversation. So, and if y'all haven't shared this, please, ma'am, please, sir, I know I'm begging, but y'all share this. I want y'all to share this, because somebody else needs this conversation. They don't even know it, but they need this conversation. Okay, y'all share it for me. All right, so let's make this practical. What are some of the most common masks you see people wearing?
That's a good question. Some of the most common masks that I see people wearing would be the mask of I'll go back to emotional, concealment, where we hide things. We're hiding the real truth. We're not being authentic. We're not being our real self. I see people wearing that mask where they're trying to be successful. Everybody wants to be a superstar. Everybody's about Instagram, about social media, and about portraying themselves on that format, on those formats, as being successful and got it going on and living life happy. But yet we're living paycheck to paycheck. And be real and just say that. Now, and if it's not your situation, God bless you. That's great, because that's not what's intended for us to live. But if it is, and majority of us are living paycheck to paycheck, let's just say that. Don't live outside of your means. And the professional role is, I'm a technician, but I say I'm a doctor. I mean, come on, this happened. I've gone to social events. I've gone out and said, so what do you do for a living? Oh, I work in eye care. Oh, really? Oh, yeah, I'm an optometrist. And then I find out later, you're just a technician. And that's not just technician, because they're needed and they're respected. But that's a social expectation to be successful, to have it going on. We wear a lot of different masks. We want to show that we're not financially hurting when we are, and we are,
Yeah.
and we're scared sometimes. I don't now. I'm speaking of the younger people going to school getting bullied. But getting bullied, I know it's a real thing, but that's part of the mask as well. I have to wear a mask that I'm okay. Or if you've been locked up before, guess what they do for punishment? They put you in the hole, which is what? It's by yourself.
Yep.
It's isolation. So what we do is we tend to go invert ourselves. Oh, I'm just made like this. That's the way God made me quiet. No, he didn't. You're not
Yeah.
speaking because you're hiding something.
You're hiding something.
Yeah.
And I gotta agree with that because like you're talking about the emotional mask. People smile on the outside, but they're breaking on the inside. When I wrote my
Yes.
book, I used to talk about I talked about the raven. You know, if you ever studied Book of Chronicles, when Elijah went to the book of Kerith, the book of Kerith, when you look up the word Kerith in its Hebrew etymology, the word means the place of cutting. You know, so it was like while God had him there, it was like he was performing surgery on him, but didn't give him any anesthesia, right? The anesthesia came in the form of a flowing brook in the midst of a drought, and ravenous birds who reversed their nature to bring him sirloin tips and biscuits every day, right? So every day he got a chance to become closer. In my season of brokenness, I had ravens that would sustain me, but I had to leave home to go deal with the ravens. And it was so tough to leave home because I didn't want to leave, but I had to eat. I had to survive. So I would go out and I would function and didn't really want to be there. And then you know what, man, and this was the most hurting part for me during that season is that a lot of people judged me during that season, and that was the worst season of my life. And I wasn't even wearing a mask. I mean, be honest with you, I was bleeding in plain sight. I would see you and would purposely try to stand over there hoping you didn't speak to me, because if you spoke to me, then I would expose a part of myself I wasn't ready to expose yet, because you would see my vulnerabilities. You feel what I'm saying? And so people judge me in the and I'm sitting here wearing the emotional mask, not only the emotional mask, but also, like we just talked about, the professional mask, confident on the outside, but insecure on the inside.
Right.
And I've got the social mask because I'm trying to look successful, but I'm struggling because a few years ago I'm riding a Mercedes, but didn't nobody know somebody picked that up when I couldn't pay the notes on it for, after a while.
Right.
This is a long 20 years ago. But I'm having to juggle all of these different positions. And so I'm going in the closet, and just like I have a black suit, a blue suit, a tan suit, a gray suit, all these different colors, I got a social mask, I got an emotional mask, I got a professional mask, I got all these different masks, and I got to pull them out on a moment's notice. In fact, I couldn't leave them in the closet. I had to leave them in the backseat of the car because I never know when I had to put it on. And I'm not the only one. There are so many of us who are practitioners of self-deception because we've lied to ourselves so long that we believe the lie. As Randy just said, we're carrying a bag. We're carrying heavy weight that was never intended for us to carry. And I want to ask you a question. Why do you think we celebrate the mask? Because it seems like we reward performance instead of checking on the person. Why do we celebrate the mask?
Wow, that's a very good question. As we get as Randy, as others give their inputs, but wow, that was a very good comment. Why do we celebrate the mask? I was waiting to get some responses.
What's up, DA? What's up, bro?
Before I say something, I was waiting to get some responses, but one of them, to keep the conversation kind of flowing here, one of them might be because we celebrate the mask because if we get a moment of when we feel success, we made it through. Maybe that's why we celebrate the mask. We think we won, but it's really costing us to put that mask on.
Yep.
Because we look like we got it all together. We look like we conform. People
let
like
me
to
let you
see strength.
let me
Exactly.
let me let you get your thoughts together, because I can tell this is kind of, and we're gonna holler at Miss LaRue right quick. I want to see what Miss
Mhm.
LaRue has to say.
Sure.
For those that don't know, LaRue is our assistant. She's one of our assistants here at the Intellectual Stew, and LaRue is actually the name of my deceased mother, her middle name, and so I
Okay.
named my assistant LaRue. So I want y'all to hear what she has to say. Here we go.
Baby, let me tell you something. After a while, pretending will wear you out. You keep telling yourself you're fine. You keep smiling. You keep showing up as who people expect. But deep down, you know that ain't you. That's not strength. That's survival. And at some point, you gotta stop being a practitioner of self-deception. You don't have to wear that mask anymore. The people who are meant for you will recognize you even without it. So take a breath and give yourself permission to be real.
Amen. Amen.
Man,
Amen.
talk to us, Mama. Talk to Mom. Talk from
Amen.
heaven, Mama.
Amen.
Mama
Amen.
said, "Stop being a practitioner of self-deception.
Amen.
It's okay to be
God.
who you are. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. When God made
Yes.
you, He made you just a little bit lower than the angels. And the old folk used to say that you got a song that the angels can't sing because you've been redeemed by the
Jesus.
blood of the Lamb. So you need to stop being a practitioner of self-deception." Thank you, LaRue. What you got to say about what LaRue just said?
Wow.
What do you have to say?
I agree with Randy right now. I agree with Randy. Just a heart saying, I love it. I love it. That shows me he loves it. I agree.
Yeah.
She was speaking the truth. And it's very exhausting because, like I said, it's exhausting because you're not being authentic, you're not being real, and you have to just remember what you said or what you told people. And that's tiring.
It's
It's
hard
very
keeping up with a
exhausting.
lie, ain't it? It's hard keeping up with every lie you
Mhm.
tell somebody. Even telling
Mhm.
yourself the same lie after so long. It's
Mhm.
hard keeping up with a lie, man. That's what that's my mom. Well, my daddy scared me when I was a little boy. He said, "One day you're gonna lie and ain't nobody gonna believe you." And man, that scared the HE double hockey sticks out of me. So ever since then, I've been very cautious. I try, so that's a pet peeve of mine when somebody calls me a lie when I'm not lying, because I know what my daddy taught me. Because I used to tell him when I was probably 6, 7, 8 years old. I'd be 9 maybe, but I used to tell him back then. I used to tell him that back then, but now, I'm in a
I've
whole different
gone to
space. You got to work.
I've gone to networking functions in a professional sense. This is the professional role, how that plays. I've gone to networking functions, and you see somebody across the room and you go to network with them, quote unquote, network. And the first question, what do you do? Oh, I'm the general sales manager at blah, blah, blah company. Oh, really? How's everything going? And there the mask begins. I pull the mask out. It's going great. Things are going good. Reality sets in. Man, we need 2 more people. Man, sales are just almost a record number. Flatliner right now, boy. I'm just telling her all kind of fibs because I've never met her. I don't know her, but I want to give her the proper perspective, the image,
Yeah.
the persona that I'm.
I don't know if it's a proper perspective, but it's definitely a perspective.
Exactly.
I don't know.
Exactly.
I can't say it's a proper perspective if it's one that's not rooted in truth, but it is a perspective. And we tell people what we want them to know. There it is. Randy Miller just said it. We send the representative, but sending a representative gives false feedback that equals no growth. That's good. I gotta hold on. I gotta let him have one right there. Hold on. I don't do it for everybody, but I gotta give him one right there. Randy, when you hit it like that, I gotta cue up the B3 Hammond and let you go to work. Go ahead, preach.
Oh Lord.
Oh, Lord.
Now they the one I want. What the other one? Here we go.
Get that hammer.
All right, that's good. I don't know. I feel a little preachy right there when he said that. Sending a representative
Yes.
gives false feedback. I'm quoting that tomorrow. That equals no growth. That's good. Let's see what Sunshine Shining said. Melissa, what you say? Real mask is a heavy weight. The best mask is the one you let go. It's time to see the reality of who you are. Stop trying to be seen through others' eyesight. That's good. I appreciate for that, Minister Fleming. Pastor Fleming. My bad. All right. So let's go a little bit deeper. We're gonna go a little bit deeper because didn't this mask, y'all, this question is for y'all in the audience as well. because this mask didn't just come out of nowhere. It came from somewhere. Where do you think we learned this behavior?
Well, so I'll go ahead and lead off since I got the mic. The behavior was something that we learned. And because we learned it, guess what? The good news is up front, we can unlearn it. We can unlearn this behavior. And I'll give you examples of how it was learned or was taught to us. Maybe from childhood. We see a little boy, he scraped his knee. I'm not saying that the child doesn't deserve to be pampered or show some love or some care to, but we tell them, and many times, if it's a little boy, it's just a scrape on the knee. Get up. And then we tell them later in life that sometimes it takes a fool to learn the love don't love nobody. We even have songs about it. We teach different techniques of mask. We tell them it's okay to hurt, but we don't tell them how to hurt. It's okay to let it go. We tell them to hide it. We don't tell them to let it go.
Yep.
Society even teaches it. Like we said earlier, I'll see somebody at church. How's it going? I'm blessed. I want to be blessed. I want to be blessed earth. That's such word. To be honest, I'm struggling, but I'm gonna make it through. I'm not saying it's doom and gloom, but let's be real. I'm going through right now, but I'm going through. I didn't say I was sitting still. I'm going through. Yea, though I walk through the valley, the shadow of death. So I'm okay. Give me an encouraging word. Tell me you're not the only one going through this. Because it feels like I was talking about going in prison, the isolation. Isolation makes your mind start going. I was telling you earlier, the brain is to protect us. And your mind starts going. You start thinking that I'm the only one going through this right now. I'm the only one. But you're not. You're not the first one to go through this. I can guarantee one thing. Your track record is pretty darn good. Because the last thing I can remember that was going to take me out or take you out was still here. So whatever that thing is, guess what? It didn't take you out. So your track record is pretty darn good. Keep it up. Encourage yourself. Like the song says, sometimes we got to encourage ourselves. I can't hear you. I can't hear you if you can hear me.
Did I get it right now? Am I back? Oh, my bad. I'm glad you said so. Did you? You ain't say nothing to me, Randy. You just let me talk. My bad. I'm sorry. But you're right. Corporate spaces teach it. Society, you can hear me now, though, right? Society reinforces it. Even casual conversation, like you just said a minute ago. You ask, how you doing? First thing they say is, I'm blessed. But you got a shut off notice on the table. Your child is school vaping and you done got in trouble. Is getting in trouble. Kids cussing you out. All kind of things going on. But you hollering, I'm blessed. And instead of just being, ain't nothing wrong with saying, I was walking out of church yesterday and something upset me yesterday. It did. And on my way out, somebody said, you're not speaking? I said, I'm sorry. Right now, I'm not in the best mood.
Right.
I said, get pass on the day. And I walked off. Because like you just said, the brain, we talk about the brain having its own defense mechanism. That's the amygdala. And that amygdala is that trigger that says, danger exists. But amygdala don't know if it's a pit bull.
Right.
Or if it's a childhood trauma. It just knows that my body's in danger. My body has been in reset mode for 3 weeks dealing with this sciatic nerve. You know what I'm saying? And probably part of the stress is what prolonged my healing process. You know what I'm saying? Because that amygdala goes off and the cortisol is raised, and all of a sudden the brain is in fight or flight mode. So when we start answering these questions and we become practitioners of self-deception, when we start lying to ourselves, when we start pulling out the briefcase, DA, and having a different mask for every situation, you know what I'm saying? Some women have different wigs for every situation. They got a straight wig, they got a curly wig, they got a blonde wig for whoever they want to become. Same thing we do with our mask. We do these things because we're trying to hide or conceal who I really am from what, because we don't want other people to see. But let me ask you a question. Do you think we've been conditioned to hide?
That's a very good question.
And while you're thinking about that, let me talk to DA, John Wilson, Randy. What do y'all think? Do you think we're conditioned? Is that why we wear masks? Because we've been conditioned to hide certain things? And let me go ahead and put the link in the chat while you're answering this question. You can go ahead.
Okay. So I don't think we're conditioned. Well, maybe we are. We are somewhat conditioned because it comes from an early age. It comes from school. It comes from parenting. So we are somewhat conditioned to wear a mask and be phony in that sense, to not be real, express ourselves truly. Because for years it was said to us that men don't cry. Now we all know men do cry, but for years it was a stigma said men don't cry. A real man don't cry. I don't know what kind. Real men don't eat quiche. I happen to like quiche. And I get emotional at church and other events in my life. I cry, so I'm that guy. But I'm also that guy that will protect mine. I'll just leave it at that. I got a black belt and I'll protect mine. So it has nothing to do with femininity. It has to do with crying. And that's an emotion. And I will release it if that's what's called for. We have to learn how to. So yes, I think those things we've been conditioned because we have to unlearn it.
Okay, and some people in the chat agree with you. Randy said yes, we're conditioned. John Wilson said I think we are. Randy Miller says transparency shows weakness. Weak people don't survive.
Right.
And then at least that's society's take on it. And we talked about that 2 weeks ago about who taught us to suffer in silence, because so many people have become silent sufferers. I'm sure I've done it, because we don't cry, and I used to, when I used to come home, I used to have to go in the backyard, just sit there for a while, what I'm saying? And some women I know that do it, and sisters, I know y'all can agree. There have been times when you come home and you sit in the car for 30 minutes before you walk in the house.
Oh my gosh, you hit the nail on the head. Exactly. I've been there. Again, I'll be transparent again. I pulled up, I saw her car, and I go, wow, I don't want to go inside. And I politely placed in reverse and backed on out. Or perhaps a job that you don't want to work that before you go inside. Now you go inside because you got to make that money, but you got to pray. You got to get yourself together. You got to say words of affirmation or prayer or something, but something makes you go, let me go on in here. We have to. We have to have that rule.
And you got to face it. And it's hard to, and you know what sad part about it is? Sometimes it's probably a little easier to face certain things with a mask on. You know why? Because then I don't have to really face it with my face.
I don't have to deal with it.
I'll give you this version of me.
Exactly.
And you can do whatever you want to. You can do whatever you want to do with this version of me. But this version of me is not who I really am. You know what I'm saying? And so since I've sold you a lie and you bought it, what have I lost? You know what I'm saying? But if I've done it so much, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. But and that probably explains why authenticity feels so uncomfortable with certain people. But have you ever noticed this, that authenticity attracts? When people are shown up authentic, you think about Jesus on the road to Emmaus, when he ran into the disciples and they said, come on home come to the house with us, right? And they got to the house, and what Thomas said, Lord, unless I can see the nails in your hand, or I can see the print in your side, the thrusting in your side, I'm not gonna believe it. Jesus said, I tell you what, then let me show you that. Here you go.
Touch me.
Touch you. Yeah. Hold on. I got somebody that look like they want to jump on the conversation. Let me see when he gets still. I'm gonna let him jump on. Okay, there we go. Let me put him on in. What's up, Lisa? He got good lighting. Let me put on Pastor Wilson. What's up, Doctor?
What's going on, Doc?
I don't know what you got to talk. You got to walk around and talk. Anybody see you? Give me some light, my friend. There we go.
Yeah,
there we go. Let
I
me
had to
see
get
that beautiful goatee.
I had to
Let me see
move
that
my
goatee.
dog, get my dog out the way. He
And I
all in
wish
the way.
I ain't played yet. I'm trying. They won't let me in the house. But go ahead. What's up? Talk to me.
Now, I'm actually loving this conversation that you gentlemen are having, man. I forgot my brother's name. I don't want to mess his name up,
Bradley.
but
Bradley. Bradley.
Bradley.
Bradley.
Bradley,
Bradley.
bless you, brother.
You too, man.
The mask, you guys brought up a great topic because, like you said, real men don't cry. And Bradley, I'm like you, man. I'm extremely emotional because of the upbringing, but I tell people, please don't let those tears fool you.
Exactly.
Because just as quick as you see me cry, well, we won't get into it. That's another show. But I'm very, very passionate about what I do and the people I'm around. And you have to. James and I have been friends quite a long time. I tell him, I say, I have to be around certain people because I need to be who I need to be. And I don't like the fake and phony. So it's best I stay in a bubble and love people from a distance, because once they really get to know who I am, you might not like me. And I'm good with that. And I'm good with that.
Yeah,
So we have to
yeah.
put those masks on for different, different settings and different crowds and different people, because they want to depict you as one thing and you're really not that. And you try to try to restrain yourself from being all that you really are, just to sometime appease the masses. I'll leave it like that.
Well, you said you've spoken truth and a whole lot of that truth, because we do try to do these things to appease the masses.
Right.
But here's the question, and this is the real question, Pastor Wilson and,
Yes,
and also Bradley, is who are you when nobody's watching? And that's rhetorical. Don't answer it yet.
Right.
Who are you when nobody's watching? Because that's the true essence, right? Integrity is what I do when nobody's around. It's a state of being whole. Am I doing the same thing in private that I do in public? If I'm not the same person in private that I am in public, then I'm wearing a mask. True. And it begs the question that if I have to wear a mask to survive, who am I when I take off the mask and nobody else is watching? John, who are you when nobody? Because I know you got to be pastor at Yahweh.
Yeah.
I know you're a pastor at when you on your job. I know when you work for HP. I know everybody and their mama was. John had white people, Pakistani. I mean, they didn't care whatever it was. He invited them to church, and they came. You know what I'm saying? So he wasn't just pastor at church. He was pastor on his job. He was pastor everywhere. But John is J-Dub too. You know what I'm saying? Right. Watch him smile. It's gonna come in. It's gonna come in. I like 3, 2, 1. There it is. And J-Dub ain't no joke, right?
Everybody don't know him though, Kirk.
Everybody don't know J-Dub. Everybody got a pre-experience. You know what I'm saying? Thank God. Give me a high five real quick, jump. Bam. But anyway, yes, who are you when nobody's watching?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's a rhetorical question, but it's also one that begs to be answered, especially y'all in the chat. Who are you? Right. Because the challenge is to become consistent. To understand that when he stooped down, the power of his might, picked up a lump of clay, shaped the clay, and into the clay he blew the breath of life, and man became a living soul. And he predestined us to be who we, even if we're not who we're going to be, we're on the path to better, right? And we're on the path to becoming who we're supposed to be. Right. Absolutely. So, he created us with purpose. He created us with a design in mind, with all of these things. But it requires us learning who we are. But as we stated earlier, Pastor Wilson, there are times that we wear the mask so long that we begin to lose our true identity, and it leaves us somewhere in the middle saying, "Who am I really?"
That's real profound, Pastor Kirkland. You know what? I'm glad you said that. Over the years, you'll still develop or developing the who you are. I mean, you'll see in one aspect of yourself for this 20 years or 15 years. It depends on the age and the growth.
Yes,
But
sir.
you are still being developed as to the totality of who he has you to really be. You'll see glimpse of glamour. You see hopes of heaven. But at the same time, for instance, I can use you because you're my brother. James is a different James than I met 20 years ago.
Oh God, yes.
But some of the characteristics or the traits of James still remain the same. But the development of James is a whole different guy, and I'm cool with the guy. I'm watching him. I'm like, man, this still my dude. But he a different dude, in a not in a negative connotation, but a growing spiritual, mental, physical
Bro.
specimen that you like, man, look what God is doing with this guy. So I think if we take a reflection and, sometimes you have to step back and watch yourself, not in an arrogant way, but an association to the identity of the DNA that's inside of you. That
Man, you
thing's
know what?
powerful.
You just, boy, come here, Holy Ghost. Some masks, Bradley, women wear mud masks, right? And the mask, you put them on and it becomes a mold of the face, right? So certain things end up molding, you mold it and then you take it off, but it's made a certain life. And John knows me, and we had similar experiences, right? But life has molded me in such a way, you know what I'm saying? And sometimes that mold seemed to almost fit perfectly. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to fix this screen because I want to get us all on the screen, but it might not work. Okay, but it's molded. It fixed me. It's attached itself to me. It's put me. And John can witness this. But I've survived every season of my life.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I can't lie and say that those situations didn't change me. But it's a difference when you allow circumstances and situations to change you, because evolution should take place. But the problem comes when we start trying to change ourselves to fit in.
Don't start, man. That's a whole different show. Don't start. Don't
because
do that. Not tonight. Don't do that. That's a whole different show.
It's a difference in conforming and transforming. Because I don't know if y'all saw that when I put it on there just a second. Let me put it on there again. Every day, I become a little more me.
Right.
If I live tomorrow, I'm gonna be more me tomorrow than I am today. You know why? Because I got yesterday's experiences to help me get through tomorrow. Right. So every day I become a little bit more me. But what I'm doing in that instance is I'm allowing life to transform me. Life happens. Lisa, don't you start throwing those shoes at me. Life is gonna happen regardless. It's just gonna happen. So as life happens, and we let it happen. There you go. When the process never ends.
Right.
Every day I'm becoming a little bit more me. From the dust I came, and from the dust I shall return. At my weakest point, I come into the earth from dust. At my weakest point, I go back to the dust. But somewhere in the middle, I become a version. Oh, shut up!
Yes,
I become a version of myself.
Yes, sir, Rabbi.
That if I let life teach me, if I let metamorphosis, Holy Ghost, come here. If I let metamorphosis take place. If I let transformation, if I let evolution, if I let life, here it is, y'all. I'm gonna give it to y'all the way y'all say it. If I let life.
Thank you. Say it.
Yes, sir, Reverend.
And I don't complain about it because you know what? Here it is. It's just the preacher in me. I'm sorry. It's not that it's making me bitter. It's meant to make me better.
Thank you.
Yes,
say it.
Yes, sir.
Father John, I don't know how old y'all are. But we used to have some cough medicine when I was younger called Father John's.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Boy, that was the nastiest cough medicine in the world. It was disgusting. But if you took it, let's go a step further, because Grandmama, come here, Mama Edna. Grandmama used to line us up at a certain season of the year and pull out something called some castor oil.
Yes, sir,
It was disgusting. But she lined, now that I think about it, I don't remember Grandmama using the different spoons. But she'd line us all up and she would give us that doggone castor oil.
Right.
And we would take it. And it didn't taste good at all, but it would get inside of our body. And the stuff that wasn't supposed to be there, give it a few minutes, and it was coming out.
Yeah.
And that's what God does for us. He tries us by the fire. And it's an interesting fire. Now, Moses ran up on a fire that was on a bush, and the bush wasn't consumed. So if he can do it to a bush and not consume the bush, how come he can't burn the stuff off of us that's not necessary so that we... I'm going to shut up so y'all can talk. I'm sorry. I apologize.
No, man, don't
You
stop.
better preach. You better teach.
Don't stop.
Because
No,
behind the mask, here it is, Lisa. Behind the mask is the hurt version of us, the healing version, the honest version. But let me ask you this. Why is it so hard? Bradley, this question is for you. John, you here, you might as well stay.
Yes, sir.
Why is it so hard for people to meet that version of themselves?
Okay, I'll answer that question. But first, I want to say, Randy, I think it was Randy. Let me look here. Randy, First Peter, you hit it right on the head. Casting all your cares on God. Anyway,
that's
First
my
Peter.
favorite scripture.
Anyway, one of my favorite too. But anyway, so
hold on, y'all got hold on. My sweetheart is on here. Hey, Alicia. I gotta say her name right whenever I see her. Now she's laughing really, really hard right now, and she's laughing harder because I'm highlighting her laugh. I wish I could bring her on here just to laugh. But anyway, hey, Alicia. She said, I certainly love the person I am today as opposed to the person I was 10 or 15 years ago. Lord. All right, now we're ready for your answer. Go ahead.
Okay. Now, what was the question again?
I'm just playing. Why is it so hard for people to meet that version of themselves?
Because there's one word I'm going to say. I'm going to just say one word, vulnerable.
Right.
Because people are being real then, and they're being vulnerable. If I was to show you my real self and you said to me, so how you doing today? Well, I got a headache. My bills are due. I got more bills than I do payday. I got more, week than I do pay. It's just, I'll go on. Do you really want to know the truth, or do I want to hear this mask of I'm okay?
And most people don't want to hear the truth.
No, it makes me vulnerable then. It makes a person vulnerable, and it causes them to be authentic and vulnerable.
Yeah, that's good. What you got on that, J-Dub?
You know what? It's two pieces to it, because once you're identifying your new me, you're still learning that person. You don't. So this is my perspective. You don't really
I like this
fully understand it. You don't fully understand the new me or the becoming of me, because it's still a work in motion. So my perspective is you get glimpse of the new me, and then you take those perspectives and learn from the new me as opposed to who I am tomorrow. Like, for instance, you made a statement that the mold that you take from your face, that's the image,
right?
But the totality of who that person is a whole different animal. The face may look the same. The mindset could change. The body could, as you say, metamorphose or cocoon to something else. Your gear, whatever you wear, how fly you want to be, the haircut, the trim, all that could change, but that mold may stay the same. So from the perspective of who I am to become and what I see I'm being is a whole different beast.
So Bradley, you talked about vulnerability, but John, you talked about being exposed too soon, and those are two different. You know what I'm saying? That's why the songwriter said, "When I come forth, I ain't coming forth too soon."
That's right.
But when I come forth, I shall come forth as pure gold. Pure gold is tried by the fire.
Exactly.
And it's a hot fire. You know what I'm saying? Because pure gold can't have any impurities in it. When the goldsmith is making the pure gold and puts the fire on it, it has this thing called a skimmer. And what it does is it skims off the impurities or the alloys that are on the. That's what God does for us as we go through life. As I said, when we come from the dust, we're at our weakest point. We're a baby. We're dependent. We need mama. We need daddy. We need nurturing. We need somebody to help us get us through adolescence, to get us into adulthood. And then the fire starts. And when the fire starts burning. And as it burns, it starts to burn off the things that are, if you let it, it burns off the unnecessary things. But some of us, because we have the ability and the power to quench the fire, we stop the fire from burning.
We start helping out the process.
That's right.
We start
Y'all
leaving
talking
steps
real.
out.
Y'all know y'all making me show out on these kind of shows. We start
No,
talking
man,
like
you
this.
actually being real,
Yes,
Pastor.
yes.
And we need that, man, because what I think so many times is like podcasts or different lives. We really don't give the people that those elements that we know. We like, well, I don't want to offend nobody. I want to be unapologetic and this and that. But if you're gonna help me, allow God to let you help me the way He wants you to help me. You know, we try to hold back. Well, I shouldn't have said that. Nah, if the man, if God says say something, I promise you it's gonna bless somebody. It may not be the ones that are on the podcast or on the live feed or in the audience, but when
Right.
somebody go back and look at that and review, because see, what we can't do, we can't get back time. So
No.
once
Right.
something happened, the Bible says, "As it is on earth, as it is." See, we got to remember,
Simultaneously.
it already happened.
Yeah.
Exactly.
As it is, because it's
We're
speaking in the
catching up.
present tense. Yeah.
Right, we're catching up to this podcast from an intellectual stew. You already did this. We're this is a byproduct of us of what God is already giving you. You know what I'm saying? But we seeing it live. We thinking it's live.
Right,
This already happened in heaven. You know,
Yeah.
we kept this the video. This the real video right now.
Me and John, listen, John, the one that came up with my nickname. I wasn't the one that came. People thought I was arrogant when the people started saying this, the nickname that they came up with for me. But John and I, like he said, we could tell him, John. Me and John met.
Oh my God.
In 2002.
Yes.
At Jackson Memorial Baptist Church. And when I first got there, Pastor Sutton, he checks you out before he lets you preach at his church. He'll send you somewhere else and let you preach first.
That's
so
right.
When we got to church that day, he told John, he said, "All right, I need you to take him over to Second Mount Vernon." That was the name of the church at that time. And John said, "Okay, I got it." So I had to sing a song at the church, remember? And then I walked out, and John pulled up back then, John had a Honda Civic, green.
Yes, sir, Don. Green.
It was 2 doors, too. It might have been two doors. John had a 2-door Honda Civic.
Yes,
I
sir.
said, okay. So Bradley, he pulled his car up. I got in the car, grabbed my Bible, got in the car, drove over to the church, preached, did my thug thizzle over there, you know what I'm saying? And
crushed it.
They called checking on me and whatnot. They doing their little check, their little investigations and whatnot. We get back to the church. He said, pull up to your, I said, pull up to my car. And so we pull up to my car. He looked at me and said, "Why we ain't drive your whip?" You can tell him, John. Go ahead.
Hey, look, Bradley, I'm sitting up here like, man, listen, I ain't tripping. If brother got it going on, somebody got something going on, I ain't mad at you. I'm gonna do what I can do. Right. We pulls back up to his whip. I'm like, bruh, you got the fat Mercedes sitting over here. I would have drove. Look, I'd have been glad to drive your ride. Drive you in your ride to the
exactly.
But that's how humble he was, man.
It was 2002, and that was a 2001. That was a brand new Mercedes.
Brand new. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I pull up in the Civic. Because I'm doing what I got to do. I'm like, bro, we could have jumped in your whip.
But Bradley, what would I look like to tell him to go park his car and go get in my car?
Man,
like you stunning.
Look, I would have been. I'm from Chicago. I would have been good with it. I would have been like,
I don't care. But let you know, I didn't care nothing about no car.
No, he did.
I care about relationships.
Yeah, and we've been friends ever since.
And nobody wanted. And guess what? John and I have never had to wear a mask in front of each other.
Never.
Not one time have we ever had to wear a mask. If he's had to check me, he'll check me. And we check each other different.
Yeah.
It becomes a battle of wits real fast. And then it's all one-liners. You know what I'm saying? Well, I guess so. But we've never gotten angry enough at each other.
Never that.
What we had, you know what I'm saying? We deal with it or whatever it takes. But let's talk about this mask. The reason why people don't want people to see that version of themselves, because if they take their mask off, guess what that means? They have to be seen.
Yeah.
Lisa, if they take the mask off, man, how many times have you gotten mad, sisters, at when you wear makeup, but he shows up early and you didn't get a chance to put your face on?
Pastor,
you didn't get a chance to put your face on. If you didn't put your face on, now he sees all those craters and them ditches and all that stuff in the face.
No, you know what? That's a good thing, James.
It is.
I want to see your raw. I want to see your raw because I want to really know what I got.
I want to see all the imperfections.
All of it. all of
I
it.
want to see if you wear wigs all the time. I want to see how short your hair is.
Or
And
I
might not
like
like
you
it.
might be wearing a wig because it's long. You never know.
Let me see that. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I want to see that. You know what I mean? But I want to know the truth. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to. I want to know the truth. All right. So let's get into the next segment,
Right.
because wearing masks ain't just personal, right? It's
Right.
cultural as well.
Right.
It's a very cultural thing. All right. So the different cultures have different forms of masking.
Mm-hmm.
You have public face versus private truth.
Mm-hmm.
But let me ask you this, and I'm sorry with you, Bradley.
Mhm.
Do you think masking is just human nature at this point, or is it something that we can unlearn?
It's definitely a cultural thing and definitely can be unlearned.
Mm-hmm.
For example, in the United States, we call it personality masking, or also known as social camouflaging. It's when somebody changes their natural personality, like we're talking about, to fit in or to avoid the truth or their emotions. Now, in Japan, it's called reaching a tatima, and it refers to the public or some type of facade that you put on to present to the world.
Right.
And it's often it's different from what your true feelings. Now, you don't have to go to Japan to see it. You can even see it in Russia. They have something called a persona masking, where it's the art of hiding a mask in public and hiding the true identity. So it's not just here. So yeah, I think it's something that can be unlearned. I think it's culture, and I think it's happening all over right now. People want, and I think some of it may have some underlying issues to deal with social media. I don't know, but people want things right now. They want success right now. Everybody wants to be blessed. They want microwave blessings right now. But you have to go through a process. And I'm glad you brought that up, and I'll speak on that later. But you have to go through a process to get to that. This didn't happen just overnight.
Yeah, that's true. John, you want to elaborate? Oh yeah, absolutely.
I think,
John, you want to elaborate on that?
yeah, Brother Bradley makes a very interesting observation, because what the social media, what the world sees, no one really wants that true authentic person to be shown, or I think you mentioned being vulnerable, because now you have something to judge me by.
Exactly.
And with the world is full of hate, full of judgment, full of you wrong, you shouldn't have said this. I don't want to get into the particulars, but with the comment with TLC and Chili and Nick Cannon about where KKKs come from, this and that.
Right.
So there's gonna be a masking or hide, because this how me and my people roll. But when we come around you and your people, we're gonna be real. That's what they call it. We're gonna be real. But now if you come in our circle, you need to have this kind of front on. This is how we do it. So once we get past that, that facade of you have to change because I'm in this crowd, or this crowd doesn't fit this crowd. I'm for instance, he mentioned China has one, Russia has one, United States has one. Everything is, I need to look like perfect right now, and
Exactly.
I need you to be identified with, this is what perfect looks like. Man, please.
Yeah.
I want to say last thing. When I met James years ago, I nicknamed him the mind massager. And the reason why I said that is that the level of I'm gonna put it out there, the gifting that God has put on him, just on the intellect, just regular conversation, just is different. And I told him earlier today, I said most people are, I won't say afraid, but they'll shy away from you because of the gift that you have. They'll say, oh, they'll label it with a mass arrogant, or he think he this, or he think he that, because you can't identify with the gift. Remember, the Bible says to give one of them one talent, he gave another one two, and he gave another one five. Now, what did you do with it? Five doubled his, two doubled theirs. The one went hid his. And so, if we really hide the talent that God has really given us, even if it's just one, just to try to fit in with the 4 and the 10, I think you lose yourself. So I want him to always be the mind. He'll always be the mind massager to me. You know, now who he is to somebody else, that I have nothing to do with that. But if you really take and I study people, you know, that's one of my things. I study people and ask God to reveal what's the significance of this person in my life.
Yeah,
And I think about
go ahead. I'm sorry.
6 people. This is my last day. I think about 6 people. Who are those 6 people that I would say if take me to my last days, you know, my last walk. That last walk. Those are the 6 people now at 60 years old that I'm circling around. They don't know it, but some of them do. That's who I'm going to circle myself around for the rest of these days that God gives me on this earth.
Amen.
Yeah, that's good stuff, man. And he ain't lying. That's my boy. That's my when I say my
I
partner.
tell everybody that. Anybody. Public.
Yeah, that's my partner.
Private.
That's my partner. Well, let's help somebody now. Let's help somebody now because we've been on a little almost an hour and a half. I don't have nothing to do, so I hope I ain't bothering you too bad, Bradley. But how to take the mask off? Let's help somebody. Okay, Bradley, you gave us a few steps, and somebody now is watching, and they're realizing that they've been wearing a mask, and because they've been wearing a mask, they don't even know where to start to unlearning this process. So you provided, when you gave me the outline, you provided about 5 or 6 steps that you've used in your personal life to help you take off your mask. Will you mind sharing those steps with us, and then we can unpack those, and then we'll probably call it a night.
Absolutely.
If y'all would share this, we got a few more minutes on. This is the good part right here. They need to learn how to unlearn
Here's the secret sauce.
the bad habits of wearing the mask. Here's the
Here's the secret sauce.
Go ahead, my friend.
And listen up real close. Normally, when I preach, I give a sermon or I speak somewhere. I repeat things 3 times if it's real important. So I want you to come close. I want you to hear me. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I said it 3 times now. So the 6 verses. I'm gonna say them pretty fast so you can write them down. But there's 6 scriptures I want you to really read to. And the first one is Philippians 4, 6, and 7. And let's talk about praying instead of worrying. Because if you're gonna worry, why pray? If you're going to pray, don't worry. Simple as that. I won't go into deep because of time. The second one is 1 Peter 5 and 5 around 7. It's a New Translation Version. It's talking about casting all your cares. And Isaiah 41 and 10 talks about do not fear, for I'm with you. God is with you. You're not in this alone. Whatever 6 steps I'm about to give you, you're not in this alone. This is not the first time. It's not new. There's nothing new under the sun. And then there's John 14, 27. There's a peace I leave to you, my peace. People spoke about peace in the room. That's all I'll say, so read that scripture. The next one is Matthew 6 and 34. New Translation Version is, so don't worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will bring his own worry. Just worry about today. I live in the present.
Now
it's a gift. It's a present. I give somebody a present. It's a gift. So today is a gift. I live today, not tomorrow. I can't worry about what happened. I can worry about the way I treat people and the way I live today. And the last one I want you to read is 2 Timothy 1, 7. It's the power of love and self-discipline. Okay, now here we go. The 6 steps to breaking free. 6 steps. The first one, you got to start. You got to start. You got to make a decision that I don't care what it is. I'm going to start today, or I'm going to start whatever it is tomorrow, but you got to start. I don't care how small it is. In fact, take small steps. I encourage you to take small steps. We breathe 1 breath at a time. I think it's kind of retarded if we would sit there and breathe 2 breaths and then exhale. So we breathe 1 breath at a time. So take it small steps, but you got to start. Okay. Secondly, is communicate openly. Have honest communications with people you can trust. With people you can trust. With people you can trust. I said it 3 times. You know what that means. That means it's real important. Have open and honest conversations with people you can trust, because somebody's not going to misuse your judgment, not going to misuse your trust, and not going to make you feel ashamed. And then the 4th one is join some type of supportive community, meaning find an organization or group or something. I personally like traveling. I love photography. Find an organization where you can be yourself, where you're not being phony. Maybe it's, whatever it is, some small group or something. Find some activity that you like doing. Maybe it's working out. Maybe it's cooking. Whatever it is for you, do you. Do you. And then the 5th one is, I call it practice mindfulness. In other words, self-care. Self-care is very important. I don't care if you go and get your nails done, your pedicure done, your massage. Maybe it's cycling. I love to cycle as well. So I get on my bike, I carry my camera, and I go cycling. And I work out the gym. Those are things that I like doing. What is it you like doing? That's not a rhetorical question. I want you to think for a moment. What is it you like doing? Do that. Spend some time with yourself. And then lastly, here's the secret sauce. I want you to listen to this last one. It's real important. If you take nothing away from tonight, take this away. Celebrate progress. I don't care how small it is. You deserve you. It's your moment. It's your time. Celebrate you. I don't care how small it is. I don't care if your goal was to lose 2 pounds, you lost a pound, celebrate that pound. I don't care if your goal is to stop smoking, but you smoke 9 cigarettes instead of 10. Celebrate the moment. Celebrate those 9. Celebrate you, whatever it is. And then lastly, I want to close with this. I have a little spoken word I want to close with. It is kindness is free. Everybody's journey is different. Prayer is a gift. God is good. And my church people said all the time. So remember that. Remember that.
That's good. That's really good. That's really, really good. And the one that I really I mean, all of them are good. Accountability, small steps, honest conversations, safe spaces, reflection. But I really do believe that one of the things we got to do is we got to learn how to celebrate progress.
I did say 6 steps, and I only gave 5. I'm so sorry. I just noticed something here in my notes.
Okay, go ahead.
Seek feedback, because you said something there.
Feedback.
Seek feedback, meaning have 1 or 2 people of accountability partners, somebody that you trust, somebody that you hold accountable, and they also hold you accountable. Because there's going to get times where you're going to get weak. Trust me, the devil's busy, and you're going to get weak. In that moment, he or she is strong. In that moment, he or she is weak, you be strong. You encourage them. So that's the 6th step. I'm so sorry. Thank you.
That's okay. That's okay. But like I said, I really agree with Alicia put 1. She talked the small steps. Okay. But I believe in that celebrating progress process because one of the things my therapist helped me with was learning how to recognize emotions. And that first thing she would ask me every therapy session was, what are your wins this week?
Exactly.
What are your wins? And I'm looking for this major, theophany, major win. But when it became simple, the day I stepped there, Alicia, and one day and said, you know what I'm proud of? She said, what? I said, I washed the clothes, dried them, folded them, and put them away in one setting.
Exactly.
She said, good job. But that was a small milestone, but it was a win. And when you learn how to accept and recognize every win, you don't have to always wait on the $10,000 check to come in the mail or, running the Boston Marathon. You know what I'm saying? If you can run to the car, I'm going to tell you something. 2 weeks ago, I couldn't walk downstairs. All right. 3 weeks ago, definitely I couldn't walk downstairs. But now I can. And although I couldn't sleep through the night last night and I was up at 3 o'clock in the morning walking outside, I wasn't really walking with a limp. I was walking better. You know what I'm saying? So you have to learn how to mark the milestones. And if you learn how to mark the milestones, then it puts you in a better position. So because if you mark milestones, think about a milestone. So if I go a mile, if I go 10 miles, every milestone represents a mile. Exactly. So if I've gone through 9 milestones 10. And I'm trying to get to 10, I only got 1 more to go. So, and then also I can look back over my life and say that I've already made it 9 miles. You know what I'm saying? If he was with me for the 9 miles, I just have the sneaky suspicion that he'll walk me on through the last mile. The old folks said, when I've gone the last mile, I'm singing all these old songs. Other way. I'm sorry, that's okay. I shall rest at the close of the day. Y'all too young to know that song. Even though y'all old. Here's my question. Why is it so important not to rush the process?
Can I be the first one to jump in here real quick?
Go ahead.
I'm eager to answer this one because I like analogies. I use analogy when I speak. I always tell people it's like baking a cake. I'm old school, so I'm gonna go to old box cake. I come from being a bachelor. I'm married now, thank God. But I got my box cake and I dump that flour in that mixing bowl, and it's not ready yet. Then I put the eggs in there, and I realized it ain't ready yet. Then I mix it up real good, and I put the liquids in there, and I guess what? It ain't ready yet. Then I flour the cake pan. I learned to put the cake in the cake mix in the cake pan, and then guess what? I got to put it through the heat. Now, you spoke about heat earlier. I got to put it in the oven. It's got to go through the heat, baby. It's got to go through a hot process. Then it's ready for me to pull out. Then I got to let it sit on that, old school now. I got to sit in that window on a cake pan and let it cool down just a little bit. Maybe I'm older than you, but I let it cool down and smelt the whole house real good. And then I put icing on that thing. I put a little icing on it. Then I let it cool down and it's ready now.
But what if you wouldn't have put it in?
The process is just like that. It's not ready instantly. I have to go through all those steps to get the end result. That's why the process is so important, because we got to go through steps, man.
So you mean if you put the battery in and you put the milk in and you mix it all up and you put it in the bowl and it's not a cake if you don't put it in the heat?
It's got to go in the heat, baby. You got to put it in the oven.
What if it has a bake on 350 for 45 minutes, but you only put it in there for 20 minutes? What happened?
Oh, it ain't ready. It's going to be moist. It's going to be kind of soggy. It's not going to be done all the way.
So you can't circumvent any steps in the process.
Exactly. You can't cut it short. Maybe I'll turn it up a little hotter. Think that's going to work for me. I'll turn it up hotter. You can't. It's the process. It's a process.
John, that sounds like a good runway for you, a red carpet for you to run in.
Man, listen, he sound like he in my era about that how you doing that cake, man. 60 years old. I done seen that process so many times, and what people want to do, they want to try to do shortcuts.
Exactly.
That's what I want to call it for the 2026. Everybody want the shortcut, but they want the product, but they want to do it in a shortcut. And see, the shortcut's it's gonna cost you something.
Exactly.
It may look good, I don't want to go into all this stuff that we got going on, all this different plastic movements they got going on the ladies, but I'll leave that alone. That's another they want the shortcut version. They want to look like $1 million cut, but it's synthetic. And so if you want to go natural, you're gonna have to go through the process. I don't need you made up. I don't need you made up, fake and phony. I take you just like you are if you're real, raw, and relatable. See, that's what we're missing in the 2026. We want the synthetic version. Yes. We don't want the real, raw, and reasonable, reasonable side. That don't look good on. Well, it may not look good on you, but it fits me well. So the process, going through the process, is essential. And I'm done. As they said, my brothers say, and I'm gone.
Hold on. Drop the mic. He don't do it like this. He's a word boy. He's a teacher, but I'm gonna go on and give it to him. Are you ready? Close, John. Come on. Oh.
No, man,
you got to hold on just a little while. Cause if you hold on, everything. I'm gonna shut up. My bad. You can do that too, John. I'm sorry, my bad. I'm gonna leave you alone. Bradley better start tuning. Bradley, you better start tuning over there. I hear you. All right. But real talk, if y'all are ready in the chat, and whoever's gonna listen in the future, if you're ready to take the mask off, I want you to do something. I want you to do something. I want you to do something. Because we've been talking about masks for the last hour and 38 minutes. If you're ready to take the mask off, do me a favor. Type real in the chat. That's what I want you to do. If you've been wearing a mask, I don't think I really wear any as much as I used to, but I'm still gonna type it. I want you to type real in the chat if you're ready to take the mask off. If you're ready to take the mask off. We've been on for an hour and 38 minutes. I appreciate y'all for real. And some of these shows used to be 2 hours. When I have guests on, I don't mind being on because these conversations are needed. I think they are needed, and we're able to see. We're able to, like Wilson said a minute ago, we can get a good sermon on Sunday, get a good Bible study teaching on Wednesday, but when it comes to applying those things in real life every day, a lot of time we don't get those practical examples. So having these types of conversations are ways to have case studies, if you will, or things that we face like real life issues like every day. Okay. So Bradley, I appreciate you for bringing this and stepping into the conversation like this.
My pleasure.
You will be back. You will be back. And John, I appreciate you, Pastor Wilson. I appreciate
man, much
you
love, man. Much
for
love.
popping in
Enjoyed you,
tonight.
John. Enjoyed it.
Bless you,
I
man.
appreciate
Nice
y'all
meeting you,
popping
sir.
in. But I already know this conversation is going to help somebody. I'm going to put some reels together and I'll send those out. But I'm going to say good night to, I want y'all to say good night to Pastor Wilson. If y'all would go in the chat, and if anybody have any questions for them, y'all can ask them those questions in the chat, Pastor and Bradley, and I'm going to do the closing. Okay. All right. So let me close this. But don't go far. Don't go far, Bradley, because if you get a phone call, I'll bring you back in. Okay. But let me go ahead and do this right now. It's been real good. It's been a really good conversation. And I know it hit somebody tonight. I know it blessed. I know it blessed somebody. You know why I know it blessed somebody tonight? Because it blessed me. And so what I want to do is I still want to open up the phone lines. We're going to go. You can go ahead if you need to, Lisa, but I want to open up the phone lines for a minute. If you do want to call in, that's fine. Like I said, Bradley, I appreciate you. That was real. And I know somebody's listening and you felt that, but let me do this. We're opening up the phone lines real quick. And if you don't want to call in, that's fine, because we've had a good conversation. But if you've ever worn a mask, or if you're wearing one right now, or if you're trying to figure out how to take it off, this is your moment. It's just one thing. When you come on with respect, because it's a safe space. Really, I don't even know if I want to. I'm gonna give y'all 3 minutes. If the phone come on, if it ring, it ring. If it don't ring, I'm not gonna force it tonight. But this is, I understand, because it's been a role for some people. You've been playing the part so long, and you played a good part. It was a strong part. It was successful. It was unbothered, but you forgot you were overacting, right? And for some reason, for some people, it's like a wall. You built that wall so nobody could hurt you. But now that you built it, no one can reach you either, because you built a wall between you and other people. And even that mask might look like a costume, something you put on to be accepted. And now you don't even know how to take it off because you've been wearing it for so long. It's time to take off the mask. And here's the truth. What started as protection has slowly become a prison. You survived with it, but you can't heal with it on. So tonight, this isn't about calling you out. This is about calling you forward. Because the real you, because Bradley just told us that we can unlearn it. The real you is still there, behind the armor, behind the role, behind the wall, waiting to breathe. So if that's you, feel free to join the conversation. Feel free to type real in the chat. If you want to support our podcast, there's a QR code for the Cash App. It does cost to, maintain a podcast. And I'm looking for sponsors. I'm looking for people that want to be a part of the team, that believe in our message and want to see it grow so we can help other people that suffer from stinking thinking or that have not been properly exposed, because a lot of people have not been properly exposed. Some people have only been exposed to dysfunction, so that's all they know. They functioned in dysfunction so long that dysfunction looks normal. So we want to try to spread our message even the more. So if you would like to support us, there is the PayPal, there the Zelle is, and there the Cash App is. Sometimes I'll look up, because I never check that Cash App, but I'll check it and I'll look up like, wow, y'all did bless me. Y'all really do believe in me. And I appreciate that. So with there not any questions, I'm going to say it like we said in church. If all hearts and minds are clear, without any further ado, may the Lord watch between me and thee while we are absent one from another. And as I say, at the end of every Intellectual Stew episode, the world is changing. But my question for you, and you is, why do you remain the same? Y'all have a good night, and I'll see y'all next week. Look forward to it.
Intellectual Stew. Intellectual Stew with James Kirklin.
Powerful and provocative, prophetic and practical.
Have you ever found